Before the awards, before the screaming fans, before the world knew their names, they were just kids with dreams. Quiet, unsure, unseen, but in their eyes, you'll find the spark, the thing that would one day light up the world. In this video, we'll look back at the early, forgotten photographs of some of the most iconic legends of the 1960s and 70s. Each image is a quiet reminder they were young once, just like us. A tousled haircut, a borrowed suit, a smile that didn't yet know its power. Before the world crowned him the king, Elvis Presley was just a boy from Tupelo, Mississippi. In this rare 1954 photo, he's nervously holding his first guitar in a Memphis studio. He didn't know it yet, but that room would become a throne. That voice. History. Detroit. A dusty church piano. Aretha Franklin's voice was already bigger than the room she stood in. This 1956 photo shows her quietly harmonizing with her sisters. She was still a preacher's daughter, but the fire in her voice, that was already freedom. In a 1950 college theater production, Paul Newman looks more like a bookworm than a movie star. But the camera already knew there was something about his eyes. Stillness. Steel. That gaze would one day carry entire films without a single word spoken. Back when he was Farrokh Bulsara, skinny, shy, and self-conscious. In this photo from St. Peter's School, Freddie Mercury is seated in the second row, quiet as ever. But look closer. That intensity in his brow. That's the spark of a man who would command Wembley Stadium with a whisper. Audrey Hepburn once said she never expected to be famous, she only hoped to dance. This 1945 photo shows her practicing ballet in a bombed-out studio in Holland. Her feet bruised, her family starving, but the grace was already there. So was the resilience. Before the glitter, before Ziggy starred as David Bowie was just David Jones, experimenting with saxophones and strange haircuts. This 1964 photo captures him backstage at a youth talent show. He didn't win that night, but he left the audience changed. He wore a uniform before he wore velvet. At 18, Jimi Hendrix was training as a paratrooper, the guitar never far from his bunk. This 1961 photo shows him staring out a barracks window, unaware that one day he'd reinvent sound itself. The stage would be louder, but the silence here, it's unforgettable. A thrift store coat, a notebook of lyrics. In this 1962 photo, Sherilyn Sarkeesian poses in front of a diner in Los Angeles. She hadn't met Sonny yet. She hadn't sung on TV. But even then, her posture said one thing: I'm going to be seen. It was Germany, 1951. Johnny Cash stood in a crisp uniform, gripping a notebook full of verses. No guitar, no band, no fame, just a quiet man listening to the rhythm of his thoughts. That beat, it would echo in cell blocks and stadiums across America. Before the powerhouse vocals and electrifying stage presence, Tina Turner was Anna Mae Bullock, a quiet girl from Nutbush, Tennessee. In a 1955 snapshot, she's laughing with her classmates outside a wooden schoolhouse. The voice wasn't famous yet, but it was already fierce. Long before the Boss took over stadiums, Bruce was strumming borrowed guitars in New Jersey basements. A 1966 yearbook photo shows him with messy hair and eyes full of questions. He hadn't found his voice yet, but he was already chasing it. In a grainy 1958 photo, Barbra leans against a brownstone wall in Brooklyn, arms crossed, eyes defiant. She hadn't sung on Broadway. She hadn't won an Oscar, but her expression said it all. Watch me. Before the platinum records, before the anthems of a generation, Whitney was just a teenage girl in East Orange. A 1978 photo shows her backstage at a school concert, hair tied back, microphone gripped tight. The audience was small, but her voice already filled the room like destiny. In the late 1970s, before the headlines and hit singles, George Michael was still Georgios, a quiet teenager walking the streets of North London with music in his head. In a school photo from 1979, he wears thick-rimmed glasses and a shy smile. Not yet the star, but already studying the rhythm of the world around him. His headphones didn't just play music. They prepared him for destiny. Long before Dollywood, rhinestones, or country royalty, Dolly was just a barefoot girl singing in the Smoky Mountains. In a 1959 snapshot, she's perched on her porch steps, guitar bigger than her frame, smile brighter than the Appalachian sun. Fame hadn't found her yet, but the mountains already echoed her name. In the mid-60s, Stevie Nicks wasn't yet draped in velvet or spinning on stage. She was a thoughtful teenager in California, scribbling poems in her notebook between classes. In a 1965 yearbook photo from Arcadia High, she wears a soft smile and curtain bangs, her eyes full of distant melodies. No tambourine in sight, but you could already feel the rhythm brewing beneath the quiet. In a 1979 photo from Augusta, Georgia, James Brown stands tall in a tailored suit, exuding quiet confidence. No spatlas, no cape, just a fire in his stance and the stare of someone who knew exactly where he came from. He wasn't performing, but the street around him already felt like a stage. In a 1964 high school portrait from Deptford Township, Patti Smith stares straight at the camera, composed but distant. No leather jacket, no stage lights, just a black sweater and a blank page in her notebook. She wasn't loud yet, but her gaze, it already challenged everything around her. She was writing poems. She was writing rebellion. What makes a legend? It's not the awards or the fame. It's the hunger you see in their eyes, even before the world saw them. These photos are more than nostalgia. They're proof that greatness doesn't arrive, it grows. Frame by frame, year by year, they were young once. And in these images, they still are,